Crawford needs the money.
Crawford needs the money?
You think he had a chance to win?
Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford are at it again. And this time, the verbal jabs are just as explosive as any knockout punch. Their rivalry has been simmering for a while, but Tank's latest comments about Crawford's upcoming fight with Canelo have reignited the tension. Crawford is set to move up 2 weight classes to face Canelo later this year, a challenge many in the boxing world see as monumental. Gaining 14 pounds to take on a naturally bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo is no easy feat, but Crawford has made it clear.
Somebody like Tank say, 147, I knock Bud out.
Well, he just talking, you know?
Crawford didn't shy away from his motivations, making it clear that his fight with Canelo is about legacy and testing himself against one of the best in the world. I want to challenge myself. Canelo is a great fighter, an all-time great, one of the best to come out of Mexico. I consider myself an all-time great, so why not? Why not put it to the test? History favors those who take big chances for big rewards, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. While Crawford framed the fight as a pursuit of greatness, Tank Davis wasn't buying it. He dismissed Crawford's reasoning outright, making it clear he saw only one real motivation behind the move: money. Crawford needs the money. That's not a question, not speculation. It's a fact, Tank stated bluntly, implying there was no other reason for Crawford to take the fight except for a massive payday, and that was just the beginning. Tank didn't just accuse Crawford of chasing money. He went further, throwing shade at his physical transformation. He needs the money for sure, I'm telling you. He's a good fighter, no doubt. I'd even say smaller fighters are often better than bigger ones because they know how to move. But didn't he get clipped by Gamboa?
Somebody asked Lomachenko.
No.
All right.
Turkey said he got your 2 Ferraris ready. What you think about that? Oh, Turkey said he got your 2 Ferraris ready.
Tank wasn't just questioning Crawford's strength. He was outright implying that something shady was going on. He brought up Yuriorkis Gamboa, a fighter who hurt Crawford years ago, and suggested that it didn't make sense how Crawford had looked so dominant in recent times. And just to make sure people really understood what he was getting at, Tank mentioned Snack and Victor Conte. Snack nutrition has a history in the sport, one that isn't always positive. Whenever fighters are linked to it, there are always whispers about performance enhancers and doubts about how legitimate their strength really is. Tank didn't outright accuse Crawford of anything, but he knew exactly what he was doing by bringing it up.
Jail for it.
Talking about Victor Conte.
He went to jail, right?
Victor Conte?
Yeah. And he the owner of the snack shop, right? And he went to jail for it. Now it's like, you see, I don't want to throw him out of the bus, but you see.
Crawford wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back just as hard, going straight for Tank's ego. Why is he talking like he's the greatest in the sport? Little dude hasn't even fought anyone. The fans know it. We know it. Crawford wasn't just clapping back. He was making a point that's been a long-standing criticism of Tank. Despite being one of the biggest names in boxing, Tank has often been called out for not facing top-tier competition. He hasn't fought Devin Haney. He hasn't fought Shakur Stevenson. He hasn't fought Vasily Lomachenko. Fans and...
What champ? Come on, man. Tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right. Crawford didn't stop there. He took it even further, making it clear that Tank has never been tested the way he has. The only way Tank will learn his lesson is if he gets dropped by his opponent. Crawford wasn't just talking about fights. He was talking about humbling experiences. He pointed out that Tank has never been in a fight where he's had to truly dig deep, where he's been in serious trouble. Crawford, on the other hand, has fought killers. He's been hurt, battled through tough moments, and still come out on top. But in Crawford's eyes, Tank hasn't faced that kind of adversity in his career. To drive his point home even further, he threw his support behind Lamont Roach, the beau. Man, Tank is set to fight next. The guy he's fighting, Lamont.
He can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him come and touch it.
Oh, man.
Crawford didn't just praise Roach. He used him to take a direct shot at Tank's entire approach to boxing. He pointed out that Roach, a fighter with far less fame and fewer big paydays, is more willing to take risks than Tank has ever been. And that's a dig that cuts deep, because if there's one thing Tank doesn't want to be seen as, it's a fighter who plays it safe. According to Crawford, Lamont Roach...
All right, I know we last talked Big Bro first to Tank, right? And then, or is it...
Whoever. I told Tank. Tank know what's up. You know what I mean? He know what he up against when he fights Shakur or Keyshawn. You know what I mean? He want to fight these guys that everybody in the world know they ain't gonna give him no fight.
That's the irony Crawford wanted everyone to see. While Tank was out here claiming Crawford was only taking this fight for money, Crawford flipped the script right back on him. He was saying, "You're the one carefully picking opponents, you're the one avoiding the biggest challenges, you're the one making sure every fight you take is the safest path to the bag." Tank knew exactly what he was doing with his comments. He wanted to control the conversation. He wanted people to question Crawford's motivations, to wonder if this fight was really about legacy or just a big payday. And by bringing up Snack, he was stirring up doubts about how Crawford has been performing in the ring. But Crawford didn't. Just sit back. He fired...
I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
147?
147.
Shit, I tapped that chain. You know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he
he
ain't
is.
got no chance.
I already know he is.
Tank has never been one to follow the crowd. While other boxing superstars are chasing massive paydays in Saudi Arabia, he's standing firm in the U.S., refusing to let the sport be controlled by outsiders who, in his words, don't know nothing about the sport. He's watching as some of the biggest names, Crawford, Canelo, Ben, and others, sign deals and fly across the world to fight under Turki Al-Sheikh's banner. But Tank? He's not interested. He's focused on building his own empire, on doing things his way, without letting anyone dictate how he moves. For Davis, it's not just about the money, it's about the integrity of the sport. And after what he saw during the recent Saudi Arabia card, he's more convinced than ever that he made the right decision to stay put. You guys saw the guy Al-Sheikh looked at the scorecards. That wasn't just an offhand comment. It was Tank calling out something he believes is deeply wrong. During the Carlos Adams versus Hamza Shiraz fight, Al-Sheikh was caught on camera standing behind Shiraz's corner, holding up 2 fingers. Many believe it was a signal that Shiraz needed a knockout to win. And right after that, the fight ended in a highly questionable draw, allowing Adams to retain his WBC middleweight title. The WBC and the British Boxing Board of Control tried to brush it off, saying Al-Sheikh couldn't have possibly known the scorecards. But Davis isn't buying it. He saw what he saw. And if the sport's biggest power players are willing to look the other way, that only...
Terence Crawford is good, but he's not what people make him say. He's not pound for...
Davis has been in boxing long enough to know that corruption exists. Bad decisions, politics, favoritism. It's always been part of the game. But this feels different. This feels like the entire sport is being taken over by one man with unlimited money, and Davis isn't about to play along. They were saying, "Man, we got to get Tank over here for a fight with Shakur." Man, I already know what you're going to do. He knows exactly why they want him in Saudi Arabia. A fight between him and Shakur Stevenson would be massive, one of the biggest fights in boxing. But for Davis,
What I care about these titles for? You can't eat no belt.
Makeup covers up a lot of imperfections. Matchmaking can do the same thing. What are you scared of?
In this sport, it's like your job never done.
Anybody could be undisputed in the right fight.
You want me to go sell a title that I didn't work my whole life for, but boxers do that.
let's be real, Davis doesn't need to go anywhere. He's already a star. His upcoming fight against Lamont Roach Jr. is set to break records at Brooklyn's Barclays Center, generating the most lucrative live boxing gate in the arena since he last fought there 3 years ago. He's the biggest draw in the lightweight division, and he's got massive fights lined up for the future: Lomachenko, Stevenson, Garcia. These are all multi-million-dollar fights waiting to happen. But here's the real question. Will those fights even happen in the U.S. anymore? Right now, Saudi Arabia is swallowing up the sport. Canelo Alvarez just signed a 4-fight deal with Turkey Al Sheikh, locking him into fighting in Saudi Arabia at least 3 times, including giving up his traditional Cinco de Mayo fight in Las Vegas to fight there instead. Terence Crawford, the undisputed welterweight king, is set to fight there in September. David Benavidez, after previously saying he wanted to stay in the U.S., was seen meeting with Al Sheikh just days ago. Oscar de la Hoya, instead of putting on a massive Latino night card in Los Angeles, Phoenix, or San Antonio, took the event to Saudi Arabia instead. The U.S. is losing its grip on big-time boxing, and Davis is one of the last stars standing. Not all money's good money. Nah, that's the part a lot of these fighters don't understand. Yeah, the Saudi checks are massive, but at what cost? Control, influence, the ability to dictate their own careers. Davis isn't blind. He sees what's happening. He's not saying fighters shouldn't get paid, but at what price? I just don't like how this guy comes into the game and he doesn't know anything about the sport. Nothing. And that's the core of it. Al Sheikh isn't a lifelong boxing promoter. He's not a fighter. He's a Saudi government official with deep pockets and a mission to turn his country into a global sports hub. He's bringing in boxing legends, like Roberto Duran.
Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens? Or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. I don't like
Just not your cup of tea, that's just not your...
I don't like nothing about him.
Is a natural super middleweight who has even fought at light heavyweight. Crawford, for all his greatness, is a welterweight. In any other era, this fight wouldn't even be considered. But Al Sheikh is making it happen. Not because it's right for the sport, but because he can. And now, there's talk of him creating new boxing leagues, completely changing the structure of the sport. He's already backed a WBC league for young fighters. Insiders say another major league announcement is coming soon. To Davis, this is exactly why he's staying away. The sport is being reshaped by someone who, in his view, doesn't truly understand it. He sees fighters lining up to kiss the ring, chasing paychecks without asking questions.
Sent to me 2 Ferrari to play in Saudi Arabia. I said to him, we will send you 2 gloves if you want to play in Saudi Arabia. That's it. He said to me, send to me 2 Ferrari to play in Saudi Arabia. I said to him,
we'll send you 2 gloves if you want to play in Saudi Arabia. That's it. That's what Davis said when the topic came up. But then he revealed something even crazier. He said to me, send me 2 Ferraris to play in Saudi Arabia. Davis's frustration is clear. He sees what's happening in real time, boxing's biggest. Names selling out, and nobody questioning whether it's actually good for the sport. And the truth is, Davis is in a rare position. He's one of the few fighters who can afford to take this stand. Most boxers don't have the luxury of turning down.
David, he said to me, send to me 2 Ferrari to play in Saudi Arabia. I said to him, we will send you 2 gloves if you want to play in Saudi Arabia. That's it.
Davis doesn't just want to be a champion. He wants to be the face of boxing in America. He wants to keep the sport alive in Vegas, New York, Los Angeles. He wants the biggest fights to happen on home soil, not halfway across the world under rules and conditions he doesn't trust. That's why his fight against Roach Jr. matters. It's not just about defending his title. It's about proving that boxing in the U.S. is still strong, that a fighter can be a massive star without taking Saudi money, that there's still a few...
If not, y'all gonna give it to him. So that's what made me like, oh yeah, I see what's going on. So now, give me 2 or 4 or 3 Ferraris. If not, ain't no point in me going over there for. Y'all got the money to do it.
2, 3, 4 Ferraris. Because I heard you said...
Terence Crawford doesn't just see Gervonta Tank Davis as another fighter. He doesn't see him as just another champion or another big name in the sport. To Crawford, Davis represents something much deeper, something personal. This isn't about competition. It's not about weight classes or pound-for-pound debates. It's about the kind of person Davis is, and that's where Crawford draws the line. He didn't hesitate when asked about it during his interview with Cigar Talk. There was no sugarcoating.
I was advised that. When my judge told that was the first time I've been, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
Obviously, Drake and Kendrick, nigga, that's the hottest shit in the culture right now. Drake and Kendrick went at it. Everybody talking about it. When you listen to these records, what you feel? Like who's winning? Like what Tank is listening to right now?
I ain't listening to it.
Not because of anything Davis has done to him directly, but because of who Davis is, how he carries himself, and what Crawford believes is a false sense of arrogance shielded by fame, money, and bodyguards. Man, I just really don't like that dude. I just don't like him. I really don't like him. I don't like anything about him. That's not a fighter hyping up a future opponent. That's not a sales pitch for a fight that may never happen. That's real, personal disdain, and it's rare to hear a fighter speak so openly about another, especially when they don't even compete in the same division. But that's just how Crawford operates.
I just don't like how this guy come in the game and he don't know nothing about the sport. He don't know nothing about the sport. And everybody going over there. He wasn't even picking, at first he wasn't even picking people that know stuff about the sport and position. He was just saying yeah, I'm gonna do this.
To Crawford, Davis is all about his public image. A superstar who plays up his tough guy persona, but wouldn't act the same way without security around him or cameras pointed at him. It's not about Davis's skills in the ring. Crawford actually gave him his credit. It's about his attitude, his behavior, the way he moves when he's not in the gym or under the bright lights. Davis, of course, didn't take this lightly. He never does. The moment Crawford's comments hit social media, Davis was quick to respond with a post, just as direct as Crawford's interview. But in classic Tank fashion, the post didn't last long. It was deleted almost as fast as it went up. That's Davis's style. Fire shots, then pull back.
Are you just not interested in fighting over there?
It's not that, but they came at me wrong the first time they ever came at me, which they said I will fight Devin. And then when he was saying, Devin was his guy. So I'm like, if Devin your God, y'all gotta.
But even without the post still being live, the tension is obvious. This isn't the first time they've clashed. Their history of going back and forth online is well documented. There's always been an undercurrent of hostility whenever one speaks about the other. But this time, Crawford took it beyond Twitter jabs and Instagram comments. He laid it all out and he made sure people knew this wasn't about boxing. His wasn't just a competitive thing. This was real. And that's before even getting to the other issue between them, Shakur Stevenson. If there's anything that could make this rivalry even hotter...
Shakur against Tank.
Okay, so you and Canelo Alvarez were not on the same page last year. Now you are. Gervonta Davis. So you're giving an invitation to Gervonta Davis.
I don't take anything as a personal. I take it as I am professional.
Right.
They've been close for years, and it's no secret that Crawford has been mentoring him, guiding him, and watching his rise with pride. So when the conversation turned to a possible Stevenson versus Davis fight, there was never any doubt about who Crawford was backing. But it wasn't just about loyalty. Crawford didn't just say Stevenson would win because they're friends. He broke it down in a way that made it clear he truly believes Stevenson is the better fighter. We're gonna take his personality and personal things out of it. But boxing, he's definitely talented, and he's definitely got that.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside...
Crawford didn't say Davis wasn't great. He didn't downplay his talent. But what he did say is that Davis has never faced anyone like Stevenson. He pointed out that people used to call Floyd Mayweather boring, questioning his power, just like they do with Stevenson. But Floyd was a master of defense. And in Crawford's eyes, Stevenson is built the same way. The key?
Hopefully I fight Ryan again. If they not on some whole shit, I text that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, niggas start talking that, stop it, knock it off, cuz.
Stop it.
This isn't the first time someone has said Davis would struggle against a slick, technical boxer. People said the same thing before he fought Hector Luis Garcia. Hey, said it before he fought Ryan Garcia. And both of them stopped. But what's your take on Crawford's thoughts?